You look super familiar.
That is literally insane.
Huge Roman shoes have been discovered in Northumberland.
Go ahead, do it again, do it again.
Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another Bryce is Right. I got a good one in store for y'all today. I'm super excited, so let's just get into it. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to dive down deep into some of the creepiest and freakiest videos I could find in the deepest, darkest corners of TikTok. And nah, these aren't your ordinary videos. They're going to be blowing your mind, making your head spin, and having you question your reality. But before we get started, let's go and smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss out on any future content. And please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Let us know what's up. Other than that, let's go ahead and dive right in, y'all. Let's get it.
Excuse me, officer? Can I please have a sticker? You look super familiar.
Wait a
Can you help me get that wing back?
No. No sticker?
Thank you so much.
There you go.
You look super familiar. Are you Charlie?
What was that?
Are you Charlie?
I don't know what you were talking about.
What's your name?
I just told you, Officer Kirchin.
Oh my god, you look super familiar.
Officer Kirkland?
Mother of God.
Wait. Those eyes, spiders, it gave me
The
cold
Hubble
chills.
Space Telescope just witnessed and imaged something so insane for the very first time. It was looking at one of the brightest stars in the night sky, Fomalhaut. It put a sticker over it so we could see what's around it, and that's a growing planetary system, honestly pretty similar to how ours used to be. But right here is a light that suddenly appeared. These are belts of dust, and they're rolling up like snowballs to form planets and moons, but right now they're kind of just forming chunks. And we've been watching it for this bright thing, which we think is the dust cloud from the aftermath of a giant collision. Like how Earth was hit by a Mars-sized object billions of years ago, but imagine if instead of becoming Earth, we became dust. So Hubble has been looking at this one when suddenly this appeared, which is brighter, which means for the first time we just witnessed and imaged a huge collision in space between two massive objects around another star, which is so cool but also incredibly strange because look how close together these two collisions were around this star. And we observed them less than 20 years apart, which is very weird because historically we've thought that these giant collisions around a star only happen every like 100,000 years. So is this a coincidence, or is this planetary system just absolutely full of collisions? I don't know.
At least we have to see it.
Whoa,
That isn't lightning.
oh my god. This can't be real.
It's. Wait. Listen to that.
What is...
That sound like footsteps. He's Godzilla. It's like, go to the corner. Okay. Give me a hug.
What? Could I have a hug? No.
This is bullying. I refuse to apologize for growing up. I refuse to make myself smaller to fit the unrealistic expectations of people who can't handle seeing a girl become a woman. We have become a society where it's so much easier to criticize than it is to pay a compliment. Why is it the knee-jerk reaction to say something horrible rather than just say something nice? If you have a problem with that, I have to wonder, what is it that actually makes you so uncomfortable?
I'm scared of spiders, coach. I just walked in to find you here, but outside look up on your face.
First off, Stranger Things was bad after season 2. That's me being gracious. It kind of reminds me of WWE, back when it was the F. We know the result. It's like a big showdown. We have the bad guy, the good guy, Stone Cold versus The Rock or Stone Cold Triple H. It was better than Stranger Things. Come on. Tell me I'm wrong. It's not even about the bullying.
Nearly 30 years ago, Americans predicted what would happen by the year 2025, and the results are pretty stunning. 75% of them believe that there would be the emergence of a new deadly disease. 74% said that gay marriage would be legal and commonplace. 69% predicted that the country would have its first black president. And even before the internet was widely used, 56% said that most stores would be replaced by online shopping. And 52% said that by 2025, most people will work from home. But they were also wrong about a lot. The same group predicted that by 2025, we would have cured cancer and AIDS. So awkward. They thought the US would have had its first female president. They believed that people would routinely live to 100 and that physician-assisted suicide would be commonplace.
Wow. That's a weird one.
That is literally insane.
I never knew that people just stopped on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh. They're just parked. All these cars.
Like if they fall backwards, they're dead. Hell no. Look, everybody's blocking this street, just parked.
This is so crazy.
Isn't that insane? Like, that's nuts.
It doesn't look like you have much space to get through.
Ain't no way.
It's so cold here right now that the pop is freezing. Fuck! And exploding outside my jewel. It's so...
Scientists taught parrots the concept of money, then introduced income inequality to see what they would do. And the researchers were blown away with their findings. They gave the parrots metal rings and taught them it was their currency which can be used to buy food. Once that was understood, the scientists introduced a massive wealth discrepancy. One parrot would get 10 rings while his neighbor got 0. Instantly, the wealthy parrot noticed his neighbor wouldn't be eating, so it started passing metal rings through a gap in the wall to the poor parrot. They ran the test over and over, and the parrots consistently shared their wealth so everyone could eat, which was a far more altruistic result than the time researchers did a similar study with monkeys, which eventually led them to sharing their money for adult favors. Scientists taught parrots the concept of money, then introduced...
Hi, I'm Chris Dole, and I've been collecting hundreds and hundreds of disposable vapes. I've been ripping out the rechargeable cells from them and using them to build an e-bike battery to power my e-bike. I built a power wall to power my house, and next I'm going to try and power a car. So over the last 7 months, I've collected about 500 of these vapes. I've been extracting all of the batteries, charging them all up, testing them to make sure they all work okay. Been combining them all together, and then yeah, I've ended up with this massive power wall that should theoretically be able to power my house for about 8 to 10 hours. So I first came up with this idea after noticing loads of people puffing on these things, seeing them run out of battery and throw them straight in a bin. And as an engineer, I think that's ridiculous because these obviously have lots of important components inside of them. So I took one apart, noticed it has a fully rechargeable battery. So I've been trying to raise awareness about this ridiculous source of e-waste by making videos where I build crazy big battery packs out of it.
That is so freaking cool. Thank you.
But also, don't you think crisis actors are real? Like if you were going to pull off a major propaganda event, and you could hire someone to pretend that something happened and give a narrative and get that guy on camera right away.
How many actors do you know? A lot, right?
Yeah, I know a good amount.
How many do you think would keep their fucking mouth shut about whatever they're working on?
0. But here's the thing. You don't have to be an actor to act.
Of course.
Right?
Hey. What the fuck is that about?
Oh, not disrespect us.
It was good. It's not bad, actually. I thought it was pretty good.
Kevin Durant was really good in, not Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant rules.
Kevin Barnett was really good.
Kevin Durant's on your brain. That's so funny. You got fucking Durantula on the brain?
Anyway, people have acted that are like not actors.
Yeah, you see
and
Tires?
done a great job. Yeah, there you go.
None of us can act.
Did you know owl wings can glow hot pink under UV light? They have a pigment in them called porphyrin, and a lot of owl species have this in their flight feathers. The really new feathers are super hot pink, but the older the feathers are, the porphyrin breaks down over time, so they don't tend to glow as much. You might see like 2 feathers that don't glow next to 2 that do, and that's just because they dropped 2 feathers to regrow them, and those are going to glow hot pink because they're brand new, and then the old ones won't. This is a really cool way to actually age a bird, because the older the bird, the less it's going to glow. No one really knows why owls have this trait. Some other birds, like budgies in Australia, they also have feathers that fluoresce to signal because birds can see in the UV spectrum. But not all birds have this. Owls are really particularly hot pink.
See a bird up yet? Owls are so
Right, look at this. You're not going to believe it. Just on the lane by the sheep field, have a look. See them? This wee fella here with the burgundy back. Watch him. Oh, there he goes. Look at that. It's opening. Like a flower, isn't it? I've never seen anything like it. And the wee one legged it. Oh my word.
Apparently there are sirens, aka mermaids, underneath the Navy Pier in Chicago, and instead of doing what any rational adult would do, which is to say that's fake and move on with their life, I am currently white-knuckling a deep dive on this because I have too many water signs in my chart to be trusted.
She looks like a mermaid.
We found alien poop on Mars, and scientists are losing their minds over it. It started in July 2024 when NASA's Perseverance rover was exploring an ancient Martian lake bed and found rock containing minerals that form on Earth when microbes chow down on organic matter and drop their waste. The rock's giving Kate Moss on a casual Thursday. Its leopard spot patterns indicate potential microbial activity, plus the presence of iron, sulfur, phosphorus, and organic carbon, all the ingredients microbes need to survive. Scientists call this a potential biosignature. Potential because, to confirm it, we need these samples back on Earth, and that's become challenging as Trump's proposed budget cuts the Mars sample return mission. As scientists figure out alternatives, the point remains. This is the strongest evidence we've had so far that life once existed on Mars.
A researcher has found a new way to extract CO2 directly from the air. CO2 is good. It's a greenhouse gas that helps maintain Earth's temperature. Just enough and you have a warm paradise. Too much and you have hell. Direct air capture is the idea that air is sucked into a machine and chemically separates CO2 from oxygen and whatever else is in the air. The problem is those machines usually consume a ton of energy. And what's the point if you're burning more fuel just to clean the fuel's emissions? So after a year of testing different mixtures, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Helsinki.
I say Geneva, you hear Helsinki? Huh?
Developed a compound using a superbase and alcohol. I knew you were good for something. 1 gram of this compound can absorb 156 milligrams of CO2 directly from the air. This means it's skipping the step where it needs to be chemically separated from other molecules because the compound doesn't react to any of them. Pushing air through a liquid isn't super efficient, which is apparently the form the compound is currently in. So the next step will be binding it to something like silica or graphene so that it's a solid that's easier to store and has more surface area for air to move through. It can be reused, it's non-toxic. It's a brilliant idea that benefits everyone, and this is why research matters.
Oh, absolutely. That's really cool.
All right, AI models are eating themselves, and as a result, they're making everyone look like Charlie Kirk. So this is a really interesting one that shows a big problem with AI models. So if you've been online in the past couple months, you've probably seen a certain trend where people superimpose Charlie Kirk's face onto videos and pictures using AI. But there's a certain phenomenon that's been happening because of something called
Feast in your most festive robes, my child.
not right now. Something called model collapse or model autophagy. This is what happens when AI models use their outputs as training data. This can happen intentionally by researchers feeding back in outputs, or it can happen unintentionally where there's such a large influx of these modified images and videos that the model gets poisoned and experiences something called statistical drift. This happened a couple months back when there was that huge AI anime trend. People started to notice a lot of models creating images that were more yellow than before. But it's happening now again, and models are statistically drifting towards creating faces that look more like Charlie Kirk's. And as a result, researchers and regular people are experiencing a problem where sometimes they'll put in a regular prompt and Charlie Kirk's face will just automatically generate.
Neuralink filed multiple patents, and they have a patent on telepathy, telekinesis, and blind sight.
So the purpose being they're going to create a chip that is able to harness and allow people to have these abilities?
They're working on the technology to where if you have the Neuralink, you can communicate with someone via just thought. That's in your brain. That's like almost your consciousness, being able to communicate with another consciousness.
And they're manipulating it.
I can't imagine having like something else besides my thoughts in my brain that I can't control.
You know what is super weird about that though? All the Neuralink facilities are posting up next to ICE facilities, and they have a new quota where they're wanting to do thousands of new implants.
They need like volunteers.
But for science, you would need pretty general population.
Average people.
Yeah.
Science has always done really well with human and animals ethically with, with volunteers and research.
Yeah.
They've never used anything, towards animals or humans.
Yeah, to hurt them? Yeah, never.
No.
They would never do that. Never do that. Like, greed to them is nothing. Like, they don't care about money. They don't care about profit.
They put Neuralink in their brain to get rid of the greed.
Exactly.
I mean, I would try Neuralink. I think it's awesome.
Something that needs to be studied is intelligent, mentally ill people purposefully frying their brains so that they get some sort of peace and calmness because they can't think as much about everything. I've noticed it a lot. I noticed that a lot of intelligent, mentally ill people do this. Myself included at times.
Yeah, it's just too much. You gotta learn how to.
If you've ever wondered why fruits and vegetables come in bags that look like this, it's got to do with something called the confetti illusion.
Karl Gegenfurter, a perception psychologist in Germany, looked into this because he realized that the oranges that he was buying were always far less ripe than he thought they were at the store. Turns out, when fruit is sold in a bag the color of perfect ripeness, it tricks our brains into thinking that the fruit is just as ripe as it looks. So a part of this is light bouncing off the netting onto the fruit, which can enhance the color of the fruit. But it's not just that. There's also a visual illusion happening, even in two-dimensional space. Objects can actually appear to change hues depending on the color of the stripes laid over them. So the next time you see a stunning bag of oranges, just remember, they might not be as perfectly orange as they seem.
I just learned how the brain actually relaxes according to neuroscience, and it's the opposite of just doing nothing. For people who overthink or people please, just doing nothing creates a space for them to continue those cyclical thoughts. But sustained attention on doing something that is neutral or enjoyable actually decreases those thoughts in the background.
Yes, meditation and golf. Really, it's the same thing now. I think I shot like a 94 or 96 yesterday. I'm improving. Short game's getting better. I was driving bad yesterday though. Yeah, and also I'm decided this year I'm gonna start doing giveaways on my Instagram page, so be sure and go add yourself to my Instagram and we'll do our first giveaway at the end of January. I just don't know if I want to do a shirt, a sweater, or what, so be sure and comment what you prefer and we'll talk about it. But be sure you go add yourself to my Instagram. I'll leave the handle everywhere.
John, did you do that?
What is this? We are out here in Arizona trying to figure out what is going on. We're going to see if we can get it dialed in with the phone. Oh, it's actually fire.
Oh, wow. That's insane, dude. They're here.
This is literally insane, but there are cold and flu medicines right now from brands like Dayquil, NyQuil, Tylenol, Advil, and Benadryl that's being urgently recalled after they just discovered rodent feces. I'm not even kidding with you right now. This is not a joke. It's happening right now. Multiple cold and flu medications that were sold nationwide are being pulled from shelves after investigators found evidence of rodent contamination. We are literally talking about medications that people take every single day. Dayquil, NyQuil, Tylenol, cold and flu, Advil, Benadryl, Motrin. These are some of the most common medicines in America. This initial recall was just found and triggered after inspections found signs of rodent and contamination risk, which is why this is classified as a serious recall. What obviously makes this even worse is the timing, because this is happening during peak cold and flu seasons when millions of people are actively using these medications without realizing that they're even under a recall. This is not like a normal recall where I'm able to provide you with the lot numbers and the best by dates to look out for, because officials are saying that the recalled products were distributed through Gold Star distribution facility. This is where the specific contamination was found, and they're saying that you need to check your packaging or your retailer to make sure that you don't have the products from that facility.
Did you know that if you take the poop from a happy mouse and transfer it into the colon of a depressed mouse, then you will not only be transferring the poop from one to another, but you will also be transferring the mood of one to another. I'm Dr. Daphne. I'm a gastrointestinal psychologist, and this is my favorite piece of research from microbiome studies.
Yeah, it's a good one. I wonder if those mouses have...
Shit's getting weird. Pardon Vinny. To the woman suing the IRS to have her dog put on her taxes as a dependent and not just property. That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You're doing God's work, ma'am. God's work. She states that under Section 152 of the Internal Revenue Code that dogs qualify as a dependent. Meaning, they're in the house, they share a home with you, right? You pay for them, you take care of them, and they have no income. That's all our dogs, is it not? That's all our dogs. It makes sense. She asserts in her lawsuit that the evolving understanding of animal legal status, coupled with the state and federal regulation of animals as regulated entities, justifies the recognition of dogs as quasi-citizens entitled to limited civil recognition, including dependency status of tax purposes. Listen, anytime you can to the IRS, I'm with it. So shoot, girl, do your thing. We are rooting for you.
Yeah, I got 4 of them mother suckers. Let me find out.
It's going to totally blow your mind. You ready? Put your ring and thumb together and check how you're breathing. Into your chest. Well, now put your thumb and index finger together. See how you're breathing now. Into your abdomen.
That's so cool. I think that's so cool, y'all. I'm sorry.
If sleeping daily for 8 hours increases your lifespan by 2 to 3 years, but then if you're sleeping daily for 8 hours, you're also taking away 25 years from your life. So is sleeping daily for 8 hours a good thing or a bad thing?
That one hit home for me.
Isn't that concerning?
This guy has kind of weird ones.
I learned this tool called just play the tape out, right? So you go, if you're an idiot, you're an idiot. But if you have any level of intelligence, you go, well, how do you think this ends for you? How do you think this drug problem ends for you? How do you think cheating on your wife ends for you? How do you think nonstop gambling? Like, it doesn't end well, right? That's one of my favorite things to tell my friend. It's okay right now. It's mad. I go, but addiction and it just escalates. And in someone like me, it escalates very quickly. So it's dangerous. And addiction loves novelty, right? So if you just talk to someone and you use this tool of, hey, you're not an idiot, play the tape out. Your behavior that's like chasing a bottom or destructive or not that destructive yet, but it's on the path and you're like, yeah, I'll be all right. It's like, just play it out. Like, how do you think this ends for you?
That's smooth, actually. I like that.
Okay. Wow. Welcome to the scale of micrometers. I am now 200 micrometers tall, which makes me about twice as tall as this human hair is thick. This is already the size of some of the tiniest stuff we're able to see using our own eyes. But yeah, a typical sheet of paper is about 100 micrometers thick. Looks pretty tall to me. A glass screen protector too, thicker than a lot of people realize. But what's crazy is that first transistor I told you about is now the height of the tallest building in the world compared to me. So here next to me now is a transistor from 1968, 20 years later. Moore's law says that that's enough time for the number of transistors per chip to double 10 times, which means they've cut the size of a transistor in half 10 times. Now, computers in 1968 were still primarily used by governments and research labs, and were still the size of rooms and cost hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. This is still pre-internet. But they've already come this far since the earliest days of semiconductors. It's wild. All right. Another 100x shrink. So now it's getting ridiculous. I am now 2 micrometers tall. At this point, I'm actually literally invisible to the human eye, which kind of feels like a superpower. But I'll also need to be very careful because a human hair is like a cliff the size of a 25-story building. A single grain of rice at this scale would be the size of Mount Rainier. I could live comfortably inside a single groove of a vinyl record, and a 1 millimeter droplet of water would feel like a massive lake. This is the scale that bacteria live at. It's funny because physics also starts to behave kind of strangely at this scale. Air molecules, for example, are too large for these tiny lungs to breathe. And even the wavelength of visible light is as tall as I am, so my tiny eyes wouldn't exactly pick it all up. And the world would look kind of blurry and wavy. But somehow, by the 1980s, humans have found a way to consistently manufacture functional electronics at this size. Just like clockwork, Moore's law continues to see dramatic and consistent improvements of the semiconductors in our computers. So by 2003, the computers that we had, they start to resemble the ones we have today. Laptops are starting to go mainstream. Wi-Fi is a standard. Windows XP is the most widely used desktop operating system. Good times. But if you can believe it, we have to shrink down 100x yet again. Okay. 20 nanometers. I'm now 20 nanometers tall. So, an individual transistor from a brand new 2026 M5 MacBook Pro
just doesn't make sense to me still.
Humans were really put on Earth with nothing but minerals, and they said, fuck it, we're gonna make a device that could capture a moment in time. Like, no one ever talks about how insane cameras are. To us, it's so normal, but if you go back 300 years and you show someone a video of themselves, you'll get burned at the stake for witchcraft.
You are getting on the beat?
Yeah, let me do something.
What are you feeling, bro? What do you want?
I don't even know. What you want? Like, fast upbeat. Some fast upbeat shit. You gotta do some like boom bap, old rap, but like some new school shit though.
Wait,
yeah.
which is it?
Some Joey Badass.
Yeah. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Boom bap drums, but not too dusty.
Like some Joey Badass shit. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. Man, I reminisce the things I had in life I didn't miss. I'm talking about a gift. I can do it on my own. Metaphorically, teaching you to rap nice. Accordingly.
From the NYC, big star, rock star, I'm like a VIP. You belong in the UIP, unimportant person. I was broke all alone, I was hurting, surfing.
Yeah, they call it no limit hot sky. Talking about 5 fingers, damn, I need a high five. Young nigga chasing my dreams.
Who's bigger than me? I'm big like B-I-D-M-G. People try to show shade, but they could never. I'm way too clever, I do it better.
414, Pride City, won't you come? Welcome to the city, writing rhymes, I'm the chosen one.
I got 4 rings and I need 5. I've been taking drugs just to feel alive. These niggas is square, can fit in my circle. Baby, I'm sorry that I done hurt you. I know life imperfect, but I'm trying to make it better. On the path to virtue, let's get it. Vibing alone, they ain't even know I was a king till this don't give me my crown. Told my dog, don't let me down.
Why does a 300 kilometer per hour hurricane destroy everything, but the Earth spinning at 1,670 kilometers per hour does nothing? Isn't that concerning?
Does wind go with the same flows, the spin, or opposite?
Science shows that one of the biggest hacks for your brain is to start treating your life more like a game, and I'll explain why. One of the reasons is that when you do that, you stop taking life so seriously. I don't mean this like you should ignore responsibilities in life, but what you should do instead is to stop acting like every setback in life is the end of the world. In games, you expect obstacles, you expect surprises, and because you expect them, your brain doesn't flip into a panic mode. The same thing happens in real life, right? When something feels less like a threat and more like a challenge, your brain calms the amygdala down and lets your frontal lobes take over so you can actually think clearly. The second reason is that you learn to level up. So many people out there spend hours playing video games and leveling up their fictional characters, but barely leveling up themselves in real life.
Mom, he's coming in with a death blow!
Why is that? Well, because in games, it keeps you hooked. It keeps you going because you know you'll get rewarded. In real life, you can start treating every small improvement or small win in your life as a level up, like you're sleeping better or you have better habits. And these are small rewards that will eventually all accumulate into a bigger reward in the end. Because real life has rewards too, but most people just quit the level before they see them. And the third reason is that you'll become less about perfection and more about trial and error. Think about any game you've ever played. You don't master a level on the first try. You test something, you mess up, you adjust, you try again. And that's not failure, and that's just part of the process. Your brain works the same way. The nervous system strengthens the correct pathways after mistakes. So when you miss a jump or fall off the platform or pick the wrong path, that's actually the moment you're upgrading your internal map. If you don't learn from your failure, you don't improve and you don't move on from the game. If you learn from your failure, suddenly your path opens up again and you're one step closer towards your final destination. And it doesn't matter how hard the game is or what your obstacle is in life. It's not about how many times you fail, but it's about what you learn each time that you fail.
Best of 7? Damn right!
That's beautiful. I love it.
Scientists at Ukraine's academic Vernadsky research base in Antarctica recently released some footage that they recorded in late December of 2025, which was essentially filmed from a small camera that they strapped to the back of a penguin, a Gentoo penguin specifically, which is a sub-Antarctic species common around the base on Galindez Island. Now, the footage provides a rare first-person view of behaviors of these penguins, including diving and hunting krill swarms, releasing trapped air bubbles from their feathers to reduce drag and glide through the water. They're flapping their wings powerfully underwater to essentially help them fly through the water underwater, preening feathers mid-swim to maintain waterproofing, insulation, and streamlined shape. And it's not sped up at all. It's this is real speed that's shown just to highlight the penguin's impressive natural speeds underwater, which Gentoos are among the fastest swimming penguins on Earth, who can reach speeds of up to 36 kilometers per hour underwater, which is pretty damn fast. Now, this work is just part of the ongoing biological monitoring that takes place at the station to help validate GPS tracking data on foraging patterns and contributing to broader conservation efforts for Antarctic marine ecosystems, like understanding krill-dependent food webs and potential fishing impacts and stuff like that. Apparently, Ukraine collaborates internationally on Antarctic research and Gentoo penguin studies, and it often involves sharing data or methods across nations so that way we can spread the information and build on it more successfully together.
Bird up. Submarine style.
The days of YouTubers not being considered real journalists are long gone, because what's just happened today in the Minnesota fraud scandal is wild. So earlier this month, as reported by the Associated Press, federal prosecutors said that half of the $18 billion in federal funds that was given to 14 different Minnesota-run programs, we're talking disability care, addiction treatment centers, food for the underprivileged, childcare, etc. They believe that half of that may have been stolen. They said
the magnitude of the fraud in Minnesota cannot be overstated. Staggering amounts of money that have been lost.
But for the American taxpayers, those were just words. That is until a 23-year-old YouTuber, Nick Shirley, posted a video that for millions of people suddenly made it feel real. Nick went to multiple daycare centers in the region which he claimed had taken millions in state funding to look after hundreds of children. But when he entered, they were deserted. No children were found. Now, not only did this post go instantly viral, it got 116 million views on X and 1.9 million views on YouTube, but it was also seen and shared by huge political figures on the right, including Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. Even the U.S. Attorney General acknowledged Nick's video on X, saying that 98 individuals, 85 of which are Somali, have been charged in this fraud investigation. But today, it's gone even further because the DHS is now on the ground in Minneapolis going door to door at suspected fraud sites, even telling CNN that this was triggered in part because of Nick's video.
Hey, we showed that video A lot of y'all might have not known exactly
high
what
school,
it was
which is
for.
my
but
own Mandela effect.
This is one of the...
Yes, some researchers did decide to encode DNA onto a cassette, and that can be used to store information, potentially a single cassette storing every song known to mankind. Now, this is far from the first time that this has been done. The famous running horse was encoded into E. coli DNA 8 years ago, and I'm very confused about that because I swear I learned about this in high school, which is my own Mandela effect. But DNA has 4 parts, A, T, C, and G. It can be read backwards and forwards and at any point in the sequence. Generally, our cells use just one strand as sense and reads it in triplicates, but there's no reason that you can't store an unfathomable amount of information in a very tiny space. I'm serious. If you took the entire genome of a human, you could store much more information than our cells are even capable of, but there are limitations. For all the technology where people are storing information in DNA, even though they're using 4 parts and potentially it can be read in multiple frames, it still is processed by a computer that runs on 0 and 1. Lots of people have tried to make quaternary computers and they are getting better, but they tend to have a whole lot of errors and those errors stack, which is also kind of true of animals. Something like a bacteria. It's very small, and if it has an error, they can just reproduce 30 minutes later and that line is gone. Nobody cares. But if you have an organism like a human, instability in our DNA tends to cause a lot of issues like aging and cancer. Although, there are animals that live for, say, 700 years or more, like the Greenland shark, and animals that just don't seem to age. Your probability of expiring does go up over time just by virtue of being around as you stack injuries, but DNA repair mechanisms can be quite efficient, and that is what we really need to bring to quaternary computers. This is where AI can come into place, because AI can potentially be self-correcting, but then we have the problem that we get to what Alan Turing, Stephen Hawking, and I.J. Good were concerned about, which is a self-correcting AI would eventually surpass humanity and destroy us all. It does come full circle. As for printing DNA onto a cassette, yes, some researchers did that just for fun. There's no reason it really had to be a cassette other than to prove that they could do it. They put an image on the cassette, but you could potentially fit any kind of information that you wanted. In the Robots Rebel, I will probably be the first person to tell you about it. Follow for more.
The more I learn about this, the crazier I feel. Sometimes bubbles can produce light and scientists aren't sure why. It has the nickname star in a jar because the light produced is hotter than the surface of the sun. But there is also a kind of shrimp that can use it as a weapon. It all starts with a cavitation bubble. You've definitely seen this before, like on a boat propeller, for example, or on an ultrasonic cleaner, like for jewelry or glasses. These work because the sound waves causes the water to tear itself apart and form cavitation bubbles, and then suddenly the water collapses back upon itself and briefly creates these environments of unbelievably high pressure and temperature. That is what cleans off your jewelry in an ultrasonic cleaner. That is also what certain shrimp use to stun their prey. And under the right conditions, these bubbles can spontaneously produce light. And scientists are not exactly sure why. There have been all kinds of theories. In the early 2000s, we even briefly thought this might be the key to solving nuclear fusion. And the current dominant theory is that the high pressure and temperature creates plasma that then kicks off radiation, but the specifics of all that are very hotly debated. The thing is, like, at these scales, physics just gets weird, and I can't wait for us to have some better answers.
Nuclear weapons are faker than space. And a nuclear weapon was never dropped, ever, in the history of humanity. Now, I know you're going to be like, oh, that's not true. What about Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Well, let me tell you something about Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So, Tokyo was devastated from a series of fire bombings. This is the aftermath of a firebombing series in Tokyo. Now, let that soak in. So if we go to Hiroshima and look at the aftermath, it looks just like the aftermath of a series of fire bombings. And how are power lines and telephone poles still standing after apparently the most devastating explosion humanity has ever seen? And you know what's crazy? There was actually a hospital that was right next to the drop zone in Hiroshima of the nuclear bomb. And everyone in the hospital actually survived. And what about the nuclear fallout to where the place should be uninhabitable for hundreds or thousands of years? It's a flourishing city now. Do you see what I'm saying? All you have to do is use common sense and connect the dots. And if you watch all of these videos of nuclear explosions, you know, the Nuketown testing, it's all fake. It's just like the moon landing. It's a Hollywood production. Like, it is so unbelievably obvious, but since the invention of the television, people have been more brainwashed than ever. It's an MK Ultra experiment, but I made everything up. Nukes are real. Entertainment only.
Those videos are so weird.
I don't know how this information is not out there. I can quickly show you how to become aware of the movements of your third eye. You have these two objects over here, and what I want you to do, very simply, you look at this object, and then you look at this one. And before you switch to this object again, I want you to notice that there is an attention that flows there first, and then you look with your eyes. Now there is an attention that goes back to this one, and then you look. This attention that moves around is your pineal gland moving. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, what you do is you pay attention to where this attention goes without you giving it any instruction. You'll notice that it just moves around to different objects. And if you're able to sustain the awareness as this attention moves, you'll notice that a very subtle and beautiful movement will happen.
I'll try that.
These huge Roman shoes have been discovered in Northumberland. 8 of the 34 shoes found at the Magna Roman fort were at least 11.8 inches long. That's the equivalent of a UK size 13 to 14. To put into perspective how rare this discovery is, of the 5,000 shoes discovered at the nearby Vindolander settlement in Hexham over the past 55 years, only 4 of 5 were that large. That's according to Roman archaeology expert Dr. Elizabeth Green, who said it was clear that the leather shoes belonged, well, to tall people. Adding, we know that certain parts of the Roman world would have specialist regiments recruited into the army because they have a particular skill set. So, potentially, we've got a more specialist unit at the site for whom it was advantageous to be taller.
I mean, that's what size shoe I wear.
Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up, the worst show on television.
Bird Up. Man, all these birds in the videos.
Multiple sources are reporting that China has made a breakthrough in a technology to distort space and time, allowing them to accomplish these previously impossible tasks. In an underground lab 50 feet below China's Zhejiang University, scientists and college students researching at the Centrifugal Hypergravity and Interdisciplinary Experiment Facility, or CHIEF for short, have built the world's most advanced hypergravity centrifuge dubbed the CHIEF 1900. In very simple terms, all this machine does is it spins extremely quickly, but researchers are using this machine to compress space and time by subjecting the objects being spun to forces that are thousands of times stronger than Earth's gravity. This in turn allows scientists to conduct previously thought impossible experiments, including ones that would have taken thousands of years to complete, or, for example, in order to simulate the effects of an earthquake on a massive 1,000-foot dam, researchers can build a much smaller 10-foot model, spin it at 100 Gs, which replicates the same stress levels of a full dam in the real world.
Sir!
I'm not gonna say.
Mames, güey. Mira nomás. Mira nomás. Es el sub. Wait.
If we came from apes, why are there still apes? Where are all the half-evolved animal species? Why would men develop reproductive organs
First thing, the first human baby. Who raised it?
That's what
Human babies are one of the only animals, or the only animal, one of pretty much the only animal, that when it's born, it needs 24/7 care until it's like years old. Kangaroo starts hopping the day it comes out of that marsupial sac, which, by the way, if you were meant to see what's going on in there, you'd have a marsupial sac the way a kangaroo has. I am against schmeltra schmound. I don't believe in schmeltra sound. And I'll tell you why. Not in this video, though. It's in God's hands. Here's the thing, though. Here's my question to you. Have you ever witnessed cellular evolution, any form of evolution at all? No, you haven't. And forget about it. The people who say a butterfly is evolution because it goes from a caterpillar into a butterfly. That's not evolution. That's its biological design. That's how it's supposed to be. I'll keep following you. That's how it's supposed to. It was built with that blueprint. The human eyeball, okay? Look at my eyes for a second. They're very white. I've detoxed. The human eyeball, if that was a camera, it would be hundreds, like 500 megapixels. However, the best camera humans have invented yet is only like 40 some odd megapixels, somewhere around there. And yet, it has a designer. You would never look at a car and think that billions of years of materials blew around in the wind that formed the metal and then formed the components and made the car. But the human body is 50 trillion cells, and you think there's no designer. And I already know this Otto guy. Otto, you're commenting on all my videos. Dude, he freaking roasts me every video, no matter what it is. You're an art. Dude, he calls me restarted. He calls me all kinds of rude things. Otto, you look like Ted Kaczynski, and I love you. But you are mad about what I say, but I love you. So who's winning? Right?
It's not about winning.
It's what they say. The earth is billions of years old, what they say. Dinosaurs existed is what they say. All three of those are actually directly connected. Oh, and we live on a ball. All those are connected. You don't understand. Pangea is a part of the psyop. I'll tell you all about it, but look at this tree.
No.
Here's the thing about trees. So I'll comment for part 2. I'll tell you, I'm on a roll, man.
It's like a phone or like a reel. Like something you can pull it back out. You know, is it tethered? Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's so cool. It's been broke too many times. I don't know what to believe. Because that's poor dog. Oh shit.
Ya es hora, Coco, de que me des el celular. Ya se acabaron los videos, ya a dormir. Dame el celular. Hazte para allá, papi, que ya es hora de que me den el celular. Ya es hora, Coco. Ya se te acabó el celular, Coco. Ya es hora. Ya. Ya es hora de dormir, Coco. Dame el celular. Coco, ya. Tienes todo el día viendo videos. Ya dámelo. Oh, pues. Hombre, estos niños de hoy en día, amigos. Más quiere ver sus videos de perrillos. Miren. Dame el celular ya. No, amigos, no quiere.
Holy crap. That's one psycho dog, dude.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love that.
These tiny creatures might be the most useful animals on Earth, and you've probably eaten them before. Because the second they're brought to markets, they're weighed equally and sealed in individual containers, as farmers race to buy millions of them since their whole farm depends on it. Because they're taken straight to flooded rice fields, where thousands are released into the water, starting one of the smartest farming systems in the world. As while they grow up, they spend each day eating harmful pests and weeds, while digging through the mud to aerate the soil, giving the rice more oxygen without using any chemical. But after months of protecting every grain of rice, they're collected all over again and sold worldwide, finally becoming the same crabs you've eaten.
Okay, seriously, I need someone to help me out because I have no idea what's happening right now. My wife bought me like a vintage CRT monitor from the 1980s, okay? Of course, what do? I turn into a live camera feed via Camlink, but there's my things. Where's my furniture? Oh, wait, just watch this. This is crazy. How is that possible? There's my furniture. Where? What the actual fuck?
Have you heard of the two-way app? The concept is that you can still communicate with your deceased loved ones.
Oh boy.
It's like they're FaceTiming, and the commercial is like she was FaceTiming with her mother that passed. For new baby. Baby grows up, becomes like an adult, and then he's FaceTiming with his grandmother, and it's her voice, her likeness.
You take the app and you record a video of the person before they pass away. You have them turn to the side, you have them say a few sentences and words. That way the AI can take it and then make their own voice specifically for them, and then you upload that to the app, and then it creates this avatar of your loved one.
I hate that.
And you can have full-on conversations with it.
Their catch line at the top of their website says, human connection reimagined in the age of AI.
Not human connection.
It's a robot.
You take them like almost like a personality test with it, and so you have your loved one sit down, they fill out a survey, and like crazy.
It's weird.
We are living in Black Mirror more than ever before.
I know.
Literally. Terrifying.
No matter how weird we think it is, someone's going to use it.
Yo, are you playing or DJing?
I'm making up beats on the spot. You don't happen to sing it all, do you?
I don't. I play piano, man.
Oh, yeah?
So let's do some Rhodes.
Rhodes?
Yeah, like... Ooh, yeah, bro. Let's do it.
I'll make a drum beat, yeah?
Sure.
Can you tap out like how... 1,
2, 3,
All right.
That's how I like it. It's how I like it. How I like it. Yeah. That's how I like it, baby. That's how I like it. That's how I like it, baby. That's how I like it. Keep that chat like Nike. Yeah, she's so spicy. Little mama, she's so feisty. I like it, baby. That's how I like it. That's how I like it, baby.
Check
That's how I like it. That's how I.
Thank y'all once again. Have a great day. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another Bryce Is Right. I hope y'all had a good time today. I really enjoyed this video. Algorithm's been super weak. So I think we're back at them. Gonna come back strong as ever. I'm even gonna dabble into a couple of other types of videos. I'll let y'all know just so y'all can check them out if y'all want to. Other than that, like I said, please go subscribe to my Instagram page and we'll start selecting winners maybe once a month. But you have to be subscribed on Instagram so you can see the drop, and we'll let you know the details and let you know what to do. If you have any ideas, let me know. It's just super hard to do those spinning wheel things unless it's like automatically set up. But also, do y'all want shirt, sweater, blanket, hat? What would be the best prize for number one? Let me know in the comments, please. And be sure and like this video, subscribe, comment. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know what to do. And other than that, we will see you next time. All right, y'all. Peace.
Just act like grown-ups, please, okay? Thank you.
Oh shit, I got you good, you fucker.
All right, man, where were we?